Welcome to the dynamic learning hub of ExcelR at Andheri East. A prime spot conveniently located at just a 5-minute walk from LIC Andheri Metro. In our journey of over a decade, we have proudly trained over 2 lakh students. We have also been recognized by Deloitte, Silicon India, and other accreditation bodies. Experience learning like never before in our spacious and comfortable classrooms. With high-definition projectors and state-of-the-art acoustics in place, we ensure effective learning even to the farthest point in the room. The hybrid mode is a game changer as you can enjoy the benefits of a live classroom from the comfort of your home. Even if you happen to miss any classroom session, you can still attend the same session with the same trainer at the same time at your convenience, maintaining consistency in your learning progress. Wanna get started? Join us for a demo or career chat over a cup of coffee at our Andheri branch. ExcelR. We don't just train, we build careers.
Yes, so the collaboration with ExcelR was an excellent one. We conducted a Power BI workshop with Advanced Excel over a span of 3 days. The workshop was almost 12 hours long in total. Mr. Karthik, who was an amazing trainer, helped the students understand the concepts deeply. I am sure that the students will be able to apply these concepts in their careers as well as their daily lives.
The trainer, Mr. Karthik, was an excellent person where he explained in very detailed manner on how to give great insights using very complex data sets.
So it was a machine learning workshop. We learned a lot from the course and it was a great experience attending the workshop.
The trainer was very helpful. He had a hands-on approach with his teaching and it was fabulous.
This was a great experience for me. So I would absolutely love it if ExcelR and its team would come again to our campus and conduct more events like this.
It was a great course and it started from basics and took me to a great extent.
The experience of the workshop was really nice. The feedback from all the students was positive. They understood the concept. The workshop was also practical based with some questions. The experience with ExcelR was very smooth. They helped us in conducting the workshop smoothly right from the booking of the vendor and deciding the course till the distribution of certificates. In overall, this workshop was a success during our Technical Fest Atmos, and I thank ExcelR for being a part of it.
very much interested in learning digital marketing course for a very long.
Hey guys, good evening. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yeah, good evening, sir. You're audible.
Yes, thank you. Uh, let us recap what we have done in last class. See, in last class we have done how to resolve that sonar cube pipeline issue. We have resolved that issue. We have successfully created a pipeline. We have checked the code quality of our application. All these things we have done, and also we have done what is Docker, or why Docker, where we can util where we will use these Docker concepts. All these things. What is container? What is Dockerfile? And also we have discussed Docker architecture. That means Docker architecture will begin. Docker always Docker will begin with the Dockerfile. Then you have to go to the Docker image. Then you have to go to the Docker registry. Then you have to go to the Docker container. See, yesterday and also we have discussed Dockerfile. What is Dockerfile? Dockerfile is nothing but it is all about instructions. That means it is a text document. You have to write a instructions for packaging your application as an image. So Dockerfile will have instructions. By using that instructions, you can build a Docker image. That entire Docker image will package your entire application source code, application dependencies, application libraries, all these things Docker image will package. So by using the Docker image, we can able to store into our Docker registry. Then we can able to deploy our application inside the container. So all these things in yesterday's class we have discussed. So now let me share my screen. Let's continue Docker concepts. Agarwal, can you share our credentials? Yeah, thank you, Agarwal. So let me log in. I'm not sharing the screen right now. After logging into account, then I will share the account. I will share my screen. First, let me log in into the AWS console management by using Agarwal credentials. Thank you, Agarwal. Just give me a moment. I will share the screen. Mail ID correct. Then password is Agrawal, can you send the verification code? You got one verification code to your mobile number or mail. Can you share? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So now let me share my screen. So let's continue our session. See, we need to discuss some more Docker instructions. Yesterday we have discussed about from instruction, copy instructions, maintain instructions, run instructions. Okay, from we have discussed, copy we have discussed, maintain we have discussed, run we have discussed, and there is another some more commands or some more instructions are there. We have to discuss. These are the necessary instructions. So now let me explain remaining instructions. Then we will go to the how to write a Docker file. So by using the Docker file, how we can able to build a Docker image. Then how we can able to store the Docker image into Docker registry. Then we can create a container. Then we will deploy our application. So first, next instructions is nothing but work directory. So we have to understand about work directory. So what is meant by work directory? See, it is used to specify, work directory is nothing but it is used to specify to creating a directory. See, for suppose there is a repository. Let me show you my repository. See here, I have one repository. So this repository has node modules folder, public folder. There is a Docker file, readme file, app.js file, deployment ML file, compose ML file, Jenkins file, package.ml file, JSON file. See, these files all we have these files for my transaction history application. So if I clone this repository into my virtual server or instance, so that is called host mission. So where we are going to hosting this application, where we are going to cloning this application, that is called host mission. So yesterday we have discussed that is all about where it is copy instructions. See, we have to copy it. The copy instructions will specify it is used to copy our application files, source code, dependencies, libraries from host mission to container mission. Okay, so if the copy instruction, if you want to copy all your source code files by the copy instructions, you need to create one directory where container mission. In host mission, you had a directory that is all about the transaction history. There is a transaction history. This repository or this directory has these files. Similarly, if you want to deploy any application inside a container, you need a custom directory inside the container mission or container. So who will create this directory? Who will create this folder? See, that is all about work directory. So whenever you want to create any working directory, any directory for your container or inside your container mission, so you should use working directory. So that is all about working directory. So it is used to create a working directory, to create a working directory for your container mission. For your container mission, or we can name it our container application. Container applications. So we can name it container application also. We can name it a container application. Yes, work directory. Yes, I will provide all GitHub links. Don't bother about work directory. Yeah, there is a typo mistake. Thank you for recognizing. Yeah. So this is all about work directory. So now we have to understand about inside a Docker file, how can you specify a directory for your container mission? So firstly, you need to type your instruction in a capital letters, then give one indentation. See, I will explain indentation. What is indentation while writing the Docker file? So work directory, give space. Then remember, whenever you want to specify any directory, whenever you want to create any directory for your container, for your container mission, for your container application, you should specify /. Remember this syntax, /. Then you can give a name, whatever you want. So you can give /app you can give /usr. You can give /usr. Then you can give work directory. Then give /. For suppose you can give your name also. Whatever you want, you can give. So similarly, we can able to create any working directory for your application, container mission. So this is all about work directory. So now let me explain another instructions. So that is all about expose. See what is mean by expose. See that it is nothing but it is used to specify. It is used to specify to expose our application or container port number See, that means whenever you can take any application, the application should have one port number. That means on the particular port number only, any application will be run. Without having port number, there is no any application in running. So that is the thing you have to remember. So every application will have one port number. You have to expose that port number inside a Docker file. So that is the reason only we had to understand about instructions expose. So now let me explain how you can able to specify your application port number or container port number. So just type expose, then give space. For suppose your application port number is 8000, just mention 8000. For suppose if your application port number is 9000, just 9000. For suppose your application port number is 5000, just mention 5000. For suppose if your application port number is only 80, just mention 80. If application port number is 3130, just mention 310. So based upon the port number, you have to specify your application port number. So now here you have to understand one thing. So who will provide this application port number? As a DevOps engineer, from where we can get this application port number? You see, the application port number will be decided by the developers only, not a DevOps engineer. So don't bother about which port number should I give, which port number should I give for this application, for that application. See, it is not your responsibility. It is not your headache. It is developers or dev team responsibility. So they will clearly specify the application port number inside the source code. So for that, as a DevOps engineer, you have to understand where is the source, where will be the source code in application repository. Inside the source code, where we can find out how we can find out the application port number. See, all these things you have to understand as a DevOps engineer. So for suppose there is application, look at the screen. I have transaction history. So this is application. This application was developed by some developers. Now you have to look for source code file. See, where is the source code file? Remember, if you can take any file, you can take any application, the application source code name, for suppose the source code file name, it could be anything. Don't bother about it. So they can give whatever you want. But the file should be end with .js. Okay. You have to look for where is the file with the name .js. For suppose usually then the developers team, they will name for source code application file app.js or server.js. Usually we can see this type of files for storing our application source code. So in this case, you have to look for source code file. See, on my screen, there is a app.js file. So this is my application source code. If I open this source code, here I can able to find out application port number. See, if you look at my screen, constant port number. See, this is my application port number. So like that, you can able to find out your application port number. These 3000 port number, as a DevOps engineer, you have to specify inside the Docker file by using the expose instructions. So this is all about how you can able to find out container port number from the application repository source code. So sometimes they will specify top of the file. Sometimes they will specify bottom of the file also. So you have to look for the entire application source code. Then it is easy to understand, to find out your application source code file. So now let me take a different repository. See, there is a e-commerce code page IPTA. So now let me find out the application source code file. See, in root directory, there is a server.js file. See, if I open this server.js file, look for the port number. See, here it is available. Constant port number 3000. So this is all about expose instructions. So now let me explain another one also. That is all about, this is all about expose instructions. Next, you have to understand about entry point. See what is mean by entry point. What is mean by entry point? See, entry point instruction and CMD instructions will be similarly will be same. So, but there is a different purpose. Okay. See that the entry point and CMD instructions. Here there is a CMD instructions. This entry point and this CMD instructions we will use for this purpose only. Instructions. The CMD instructions will use to execute commands or instructions while creating the Docker container. So similarly, entry point also we will use, it is used to specify or to execute instructions or commands while creating the container. So this is all about entry point. Okay, now when we will use the entry point, when we will use CMD instructions. See, for suppose your application has multiple commands. Multiple commands need to execute while creating the container. So while creating the container. So for suppose if you have multiple, see there, you have to execute some multiple commands while creating the container. So for that you can go with the CMD instructions. Okay. For that you can go with the CMD instructions. For suppose inside the CMD instructions you have multiple CMD instructions. So now you have to understand about which instructions will be executed firstly. If in your Docker file you have 4 CMD instructions. So which instructions will execute firstly? See the bottom of the file only. Bottom of the instructions only will execute firstly. So that is all about CMD instructions. For suppose if you have only one command to execute while creating the container, so that time you can go with the entry point. So this is all about entry point and CMD instructions differences. So these all are the necessary instructions as a DevOps engineer you should to remember. So let me recap. Dockerfile is nothing but it is all about instructions and it is a text document. That means Dockerfile is a set of instructions and a text document. So firstly, you should understand Dockerfile will begin with from instructions. So it is used to specify the base image. Then maintainer. So who is the author of this Dockerfile? Then copy. These instructions will help to copy all your source code files from host mission to container mission. Then run. If you want to install something, if you want to install Apache software, if you want to install Java, if you want to install any software, so if you want to update your operating system, so you should use a run command only. Then this command will execute these commands while creating the Docker image, not container. So then CMD instructions. So these instructions will be useful to execute commands or instructions while creating the Docker container. Then working directory. It is used to create a working directory for your container machine or container application inside the container. So for storing all your application repository, source code, files, configuration files, all the other stuff. Then expose. Every application has one container port number, application port number. You should expose the application port number inside the Docker file using expose instructions. Then entry point. It is also used to execute instructions or commands while creating the container. If you have multiple commands, can go with the CMD instructions. If you have only one command, you can go with the entry point. If you have multiple CMD instructions, bottom of the instructions only will be considered first. So this is all about a Dockerfile. So now let me explain how we can able to write a Dockerfile. So let me launch one EC2 instance. I need one EC2 instance. Click on the EC2 instances. Click on the EC2 instances. Let me launch one EC2 instance. I'm giving name for my server, Docker. That's it. See, I'm using Ubuntu OS. Ubuntu is very flexible. Then I'm choosing T3 small. T3 small is fine for practicing purpose. Let me create Sonar 25. It is with me, right? Yeah, it is with me. Then let me choose default security group. Configuration storage, I'm giving up to 14 GB. That's enough. Now click on launch instance. Then click on instances. Try to connect your EC2 instance to your PuTTY server. Then click on copy your host name address. Then open PuTTY server. Then open PuTTY server. Appearance. 14 change connection 60 SSH or credentials. Click on browse. Choose your this is my key pair. Open, accept. So what is the first command we should execute? You need to become as a root user by using the sudo su command. So now immediately you need to update your operating system. Update -y. It is updating. Now, what is the primary requirement? Whenever you want working with Docker, what is the primary requirement, prerequisite? You should install Docker on your server. So now let me explain how to install Docker. See, in yesterday's class, I have explained how to install Docker from the official document. So that is all about official way. So there is a shortcut is available. It is only on Ubuntu operating system only. This shortcut will work. Remaining other operating systems, this shortcut will not work. So for suppose, if you want, there is I launch Ubuntu operating system for my Docker work. So now I want to install Docker. So before installing Docker, let me check version. Docker space -- version. See, hit the enter. Hit the enter. It is clearly telling Docker command Docker not found, but can be installed with. That means that what is the Docker flexibility or advantage? If you don't know any command to installing something, can just type that a tool name. For suppose I want to install Docker, but I don't know the command how to install Docker. Just type the Docker tool name. Hit the enter. See, clearly it is telling command Docker not found, but can be installed with Docker. So version spelling, no problem. See, Docker command not found. See, it is clearly telling you can install by using these commands. That means, for suppose, if you want to install Java, just type Java, hit the enter. See, you have commands for installing Java. If you want to install this version, you can go with this version. If you want to install Java 17, 21, 11, 8, 19, 20, 22. So you can go with which version you want to install Java. So this is the advantage. But you can go with Amazon Linux, Red Hat OS, Mac OS, It is not, the operating systems will not give commands whenever you want to install any command by using the name only. So this is the advantage. So now let me install Docker. Just type the Docker. See, please go with second option, second command, apt install docker.io. So this command will work. Then mention -y, hit the enter. See, now I'm going, it is installing Docker. I didn't go any official document. I didn't copy any multiple commands, but with single command, I am installing Docker. See, it's done. Now let me check Docker version. Docker space --, version. Hit the enter. See, Docker version 26.1.3, it is showing. So now we have Docker. Now let us understand how to write a Docker file. See, whenever you want to write any Docker file, firstly, you need to create a Docker file. So how can, there is syntax you need to follow whenever you want to create a Docker file. That is all about, let me explain. See, the first letter should be D, Docker file. So that's the first letter should be capital D. Then only the syntax will be accepted. Otherwise, it won't work. It will not consider as a Docker file. Then your instructions will be not executable, not work. So that is the reason only you have to understand about the syntax. For suppose by default, if you given like this Docker file, see small letter, small d, it won't work. It is a normal file, not a Docker file. This is only official Docker file. So this is syntax you have to remember. So now let me go to the server. Just let me create a one file. Docker. Okay. So before creating the Docker file, we need source code, right? Without having source code, you cannot create. There is no use for creating the Docker file. So first, let me get a source code. So I want to deploy HTML login page in a container level. So how can I expose my application? Sorry, I forgottenly stopped my screen share. Yeah. So look at the screen. Now let me explain how we can able to deploy any static web application. So first let me explain. So just type a HTML login page, get the source code. So we need source code whenever you want to write a Docker file. Copy the source code, Control-A, Control-C, then come to your server, just vi space Docker file. Okay, vi will do two things. It will create a file, it will open the file. So that is the reason only I'm going with the vi. So vi space Docker file. Now hit the enter. Sorry. This is Docker file, right? So we need one integrated HTML file. So for storing our application source code. So integrated HTML file, hit the enter, press I, give right click. The code has been pasted. Now save and close this file. Escape :wq. Give ls. If you give a cat command, check the code is saved or not. Hit the enter. See, code is available. So now let me explain Docker file. So open the Docker file again. Hit the enter. So what is the first instructions? The Docker, you can take any Docker file. You can go in entire world. You can go wherever you want. That file, the Docker file should begin with from instructions only. So just type from, hit the enter. See, give one indentation. See, whenever you are writing Docker file, indentation is very, very important. What is mean by indentation? Indentation is nothing but where we should give space, where we should not give space. That is called indentation. So just type from instructions, then give one indentation. That's it. So here, what is the first from instruction? What is the main use of from instruction? You should need one base image. So now I'm using for static web applications, I'm using Ubuntu latest. So this is how we can able to specify a base image. Now hit the enter. Okay. Now what is the next? You need to create one working directory for your container machine. So now let me explain how we can able to specify our working directory. Work directory. Type of mistake. Yeah, give one indentation. Already I told, whenever you are going creating any directory, firstly you need to provide forward slash. So then you can give whatever you want. See, I'm giving app. So now hit the enter. So now we have a base image, we have a directory for our container mission. Then you need to update your operating system while creating the Docker image. So how can you update? What is the command? apt-get apt-get update-y. So this command can update my operating system while creating the Docker image. So now you should understand one platform server, right? While discussing EC2 instance, see that day we have discussed Apache web server. See, that means whenever you want to host any static web application, you need one web server. So in Dockerfile also, you need to specify a command to install that web server. So here I'm using Apache as a web server. So that means I should install Apache web server while creating the Docker image only. So after writing the Docker file, you are not allowed to install Apache software. It will call as a manual process. So you should automate the process. How can you automate? Inside the Docker file, you can use the run instructions. So then specify what is the command to install Apache server. Same command, apt-get install Apache to -y. So this is all about how we can able to install any software, not only Apache 2. It may be Java, it may be Python, it may be Node.js. For every software, for every tool, the command is same. apt-get install Apache to -y. So that is all about run instructions. So we have a base image we have a directory, we have a command for updating operating system, we have a command for installing Apache server as a web server. So now what we need to copy our index.html file from host mission to container mission. So now let me explain how to specify a copy instructions. Just type copy, just give one space. For suppose, if your source code is available in a root directory or current directory, mention the dot. See, dot represents current directory or root directory. Okay. Now, in this case, my index.html file is available in a current directory. So that's why I'm mentioning Docker. See, for suppose, if our source code is available in different path. See, for suppose, src app.js. So this is a source code location where it is available. Then you should specify where you want to copy, all your source code. So you should specify destination path. So now in this case, my source code is available in a current directory. So that's why I'm specifying dot. Now give one indentation. Okay, there is a source code available, definition path is available. Now destination path I should mention. See, now here we are using Apache web server as Apache as a web server. So what is the root directory of Apache web server? See, you have to copy your index.html file into the Apache to root directory. Then only Apache web server will deploy a static web application. Then you can able to access it. So now what is the root directory? //where www/html. So that means copy instructions will copy our index.html file from here to here. So where www.html, because of we are using Apache 2 as a web server. Apache web server root directory is where www.html. So we have done from instructions. We have direct working directory. We have a run command for updating. We have a run command for installing Apache server. We have a copy instructions for copying all our application source code. That is all about copy instructions. Now, what is the next step? Expose. expose. So what is the port number of Apache web server? Apache web server will be run on port number 80. So you can expose port number. See, for every static web application, mostly the application port number will be 80. If it will be differ, you can able to specify the particular port number. Now in this case 80. So then you need to explain, you need to understand about you have to execute the start command. That means once your application will be created inside the container, you need to provide one command. You have to tell to the container, hey container, please start my application, please run my application. So how can you command your container inside the Docker file? You can use the instructions. By using the instructions, you can command your container to run your application. So what is the command? Entry point. Because of here I have only one command or should need to execute while creating the container. So that is the reason only I'm going to using entry point. So this is all about entry point. So how can you specify the entry point command? Open close bracket, open close bracket, then specify single quotation or double quotation. Then there is a command for Apache web server to start your command, to start your application. Apache CTL, close the single quotation, give comma, give one indentation, then mention, then again open double quotation, then hyphen, capital D, close the double quotation, one comma, give one indentation, again open double quotation, then specify foreground. Then specify foreground in capital letters. Foreground in capital letters. Then close the bracket. So this is the command. This command Apache CTL -d foreground command will help to start our application HTML login page while creating the container. So this is all about Dockerfile. So how we can able to write a Dockerfile for any static web application? From word directory, run command for updating operating system, run command for installing web server. It may be Apache 2, it may be Nginx, it may be HTTPD, whatever it may be. Then copy instructions for copying all our source code into where www.html location, then exposing the application port number 80, then entry point for executing the command while creating the container. So now let me close this file. Let's build a Docker image. So how can we build a Docker image? Let's see. Apache CTL -d foreground. Escape colon WQ. Escape colon WQ. If you give ls, just do cat command, do cross verify whether your Docker file is saved or not. See, my Docker file is saved. So now let me check is there any type of mistakes? Ubuntu latest word directory app run apt get update install Apache 2 -y copy where www.html expose entry point Apache CTL -d foreground. That's it. So now what you need to understand about what is the next step in Docker architecture? We have done Docker file. Then what is the next one? Docker image. So now let me explain what is exactly Docker image. So come to the here notepad. Now let me write what is exactly on Docker file. See Docker image. Let me name it. You should understand about what is exactly Docker image. For suppose you need to understand if you want to understand more about Docker image, let me go to the official document. See, Docker image is nothing but which containing all your application source code, libraries, dependencies. See, Docker image docs. Hit the enter. See, if you go to the Docker image, then you can able to get official information. See, slowly scroll down. Okay, there is no any definition. That's it. No problem. Let me explain what is exactly Docker image. See, Docker image is nothing but it will contain all your application source code and libraries and dependencies. So that is all about Docker image. That means your entire application application code is going to store inside the Docker image only. So it is all about Docker image. For suppose, let me, if I brief some points, what is exactly Docker image? See, Docker image, it is a lightweight and standalone. It is a lightweight and standalone. It is a lightweight and standalone and immutable. It is a lightweight and a standalone, and it is a immutable. Let me write different. It is a lightweight. It is a standalone. Then it is a immutable. See, what is lightweight? What is standalone? What is immutable? So let me explain. See, lightweight is nothing but it will easy to carry from anywhere, from one place to another place. So you can able to carry, or you can able to transfer, you can able to share your Docker image with anyone. Don't bother about. Okay, that is all about lightweight. It will very lightweight. Then what is standalone? See, standalone is nothing but you don't, if for suppose if you share your Docker image with someone, don't bother about. It will be completely standalone. The entire all details of your application will be stored into the standalone. That means it will be as an individual. That is all about standalone. Then what is immutable? See, it is very important. It definitely, if you attend any interview, definitely they will ask what is immutable. See, they will ask Docker image is immutable or not. See, that means immutable is nothing but once you build a Docker image, you cannot change your image, cannot update your image. But for suppose there is an image, I have built a Docker image. If I want update, if I want to change, if I want to edit that existing image, already created image, it is not possible. That is all about immutable. Okay, you need to create another image again and again. See, in real time there will be a releases every week. Every week there will be a new releases. So first release they will create a one Docker image. For suppose there is a Flipkart application, Flipkart colon v1. So this is version 1. For suppose after second week, so they have developed some features towards your Flipkart application. So how can they will build the application? Then v2. Then Flipkart v3 and v4 and v5. So like that you have to create a new image again and again. Whenever the dev team is developing is added the features, every time you should create a new image. It is not possible to update, to edit, to change your existing image. So that is all about Docker image is a immutable. So far clear about what is exactly Docker image. Okay. Now let me explain how we can able to create how we can able to build a Docker image. So Docker image will be contain libraries and dependencies, environment variables, configuration files. Okay. Now let me go to the server. Now let me explain how we can able to build a Docker image. So what is the command? See, I have a Docker file. I have a Docker file with me. There is a source code, indirect HTML file. This indirect HTML file we are going to see inside the var www HTML location after creating the container. So now let me explain. So what is the command? Docker. Remember this command is very important. Docker build -t. See, -t is nothing but tag. You are going to tagging your image. So now let me explain Docker build -t. After that, you should give a meaningful name to your Docker image. See, the name, it could be anything. You can give whatever you want. For suppose it is a HTML login page, right? I'm giving HTML-v1. HTML-v1. So this is my image name. It's my wish. You can give whatever you want. Then give space, then mention dot. See, what is mean by dot? Why we should mention dot while creating the Docker image? Because you need to inform this command where is your Docker file, where your Docker file is available. So because by using Docker file only, we are going to building a Docker image. So you need to tell, you need to inform this command where is your Docker file is available. So now my Docker file is available in current directory, root directory. So that is the reason only I mentioned dot. For suppose if your Docker file is available in different directory, for suppose // let me explain. For suppose it is available transaction // src. So like this, you can able to specify the Dockerfile path. For example, now in this case, my Dockerfile is available in same directory only. So that's why I'm specifying the dot. If you forget to specify dot or giving Dockerfile path, it can't build any Docker image. So that is the thing you have to remember. Now hit the enter. See, it is building the Docker image. See, firstly, it is executing from instructions. While whenever you are going to creating a Docker image, it will form a layers. Dockerfile will form a layers for building a Docker image. So that is all about Docker file and Docker image. See, it is building. See, successfully built, successfully tagged. Okay. If you look at my screen, expose. See, expose instructions, entry point instructions. If you scroll up, you can able to see remaining instructions also. Where it is, yeah. See, run instructions. What are the instructions? From directory, from instructions. See, by using these instructions, Dockerfile will build a Docker image by forming the layers. These are the layers. Whatever we are seeing, these are the layers. So now let me explain how we can able to see a Docker image. So we have built a Docker image. Now, what is the command to see Docker image? Let me explain. See, Docker images. It's a permanent or standard command. Docker images. If I hit the enter, I can see HTML-v1. Tag is the latest. This is my image ID. So this is created 57 seconds ago. It has created. So what was the size of my image? 233 MB. Okay. Now let me explain how to create a container. Later I will explain how to store this Docker image in a Docker registry. Later I will explain. So now let me explain how to create a container, how to deploy your application inside the container. So we have Dockerfile, we have Docker image. So what is the command? See, the command is Docker run. Now I'm going to explaining Docker container. If you want to understand about what is exactly container, container is nothing but it is a process of packaging all our application source code, configuration files, libraries, dependencies as a single unit and executing as a container is called containerization. So that is the definition of what is exactly what is meant by container. So now let me explain Docker command, Docker container creation command. See, Docker run will do two things. It will create a container. It will start a container. So that is all about Docker run. Then you should mention -d. See, what is mean by -d? Why we should use -d? Because -d stands for daemon. That means you are going to running your container in a background server. So that is all about daemon -d. If you forget to give -d, you are not going to running your container or creating your container in a background server. So you should deploy your container in a background server. So that is all about -d. Then mention space. then type -name. See, you have to provide a meaningful name to your container. It could be anything. You can do whatever you want. So now let me this is a static login page, right? So now I'm giving login-page. So this is my container name. You can give your name also, no problem. Then you need to understand about the -p. See what is what stands what stands for -p? -p stands for port. So let us discuss more about -p. It is very, very important. So look at the screen, come to the notepad. What is -p? See, -p stands for port. So now you have to specify your application port number. So how can you specify application port number? See, firstly, you need to understand about host port number. Host port number, then colon, then container port number. Container port number. Okay. For suppose my host port number is 80, container port number is 80. So now let me explain what is the difference between host port number and container port number. See, this is a container port number will be decided by the development team, not by the DevOps team. But host port number, it will be decided by the DevOps team, DevOps engineer. So you can give whatever you want. So first 80 is my wish. I can specify any port number. Second 80 is the application port number. You cannot change this port number. See, this application will be run on port number, but whenever you want to access your application, you should use a host port number, not a container port number. For suppose, let me give different number. I give 81 and 80. See, 81 port number is decided by me as a DevOps engineer. Now 80 is decided by the DevOps team because of they have only developed the application. Now, if you once you deploy the application, whenever you want to access your application, which port number do we need to use, 81 or 80? You should use host port number. This one, host port number, not container port number. So now let me tell me which port number I should use. I need to use 81 because of it is a host port number. It was decided by me only. So now let me map a port number. Come to the server. That is the difference between host port number and container port number. If someone will ask what is the difference between host port number and container port number, host port number will be decided by the DevOps teams. Container port number will be decided by the development team. So now let me specify the port number. Then give -p, then give one indentation. For suppose, let me mention 81, then mention 80. So this is how you can able to map your application port number. For suppose, if you forget to map port numbers, what will happen? Container will be created. Your application will be deployed. Don't bother about, but you cannot access your application because of you haven't specified, you haven't mapped port numbers. So that is the reason only port number is very, very important while creating the container. So give one indentation. Then final step, what is that? Image name. Because of by using the image name only, we can able to create any container without having any Docker image. You cannot create any container. Remember this point. Why? Because of in my Docker image only is containing my application source code, libraries, dependencies, environment variables, configuration files. So that is the reason only I should use image for creating the container. So what is my image name? See, here it is available. HTML-B. Copy and paste it. Now hit the enter. So this is the command. Whenever you want to create a container, this is a standard command. Wherever we go, this is a command. Docker run will do two things. You will create a container, you will start a container. -d stands for daemon. That means you are going to running or creating your container in a background server. Then -name flag, then mention your container name, then -p map your port numbers, then mention your Docker image name. Now hit the enter. Let's see what will happen. See, this is the container ID. Now you need to check whether your container is created or not. How can you check? If you want to see Docker images, we can use Docker images command. Now, what is the command for seeing containers? Let me explain. Docker ps. See, Docker ps command will help to list your running containers. Remember, Docker ps command will help to see only running containers. Hit the enter. See, there is a container ID. This is my container ID. This is my container ID. This is my image name. This is my command for running our application. Then 32 seconds ago, it has created up 31 seconds ago, it is up and running. Port numbers 81, 80 TCP transmission control protocol. Then container name, login-page. So now you can able to access your application. So how we can able to access our application? What is the source? You need a public IP address of your server. Then with the help of public IP address, then you can able to access your application. So now let me explain how to access. Go to the AWS console management, copy your public IP address. Before that, make sure you should enable port number 80 inside your security group. Let me cross check. Yeah, already it's open. No need to open again. Copy your public IP address, open a new tab, just paste it, colon. Which port number should I mention? 81 or 80? 81, because of it is a host number. You should not use a container port number. You should use host port number only. It's loading. Let's see what will happen. Come to the server, then check container status. Okay, still it is running. Okay, let me check. Let me give 80. Okay, we will resolve this issue after the break. I will keep I keep this screen like this only. I don't change any page. Go for a break. After the break, we will resolve this issue. Everyone go for a break. By 8:15, we will continue our session. We will find out the issue, why it is not accessing. Go for a break, guys. Take a break. Hey guys, I hope you came back. Can someone confirm the chat box? Then we will continue our session. Yeah, thank you. So let us fix that issue. Why the application is not accessing? See, still it is showing the site cannot be reached. See, whenever any application can't be reached, so first thing you have to check whether your server is running or not internally. See, now we have tested externally. We have tried to access the application externally, but it is not accessing. So now, firstly, you need to cross check within the server only. So how can you check within the server whether your application is accessing or not? So for that, you need one container IP address. See, remember, whenever you create any container, there will be a IP address for your container. So how can you get it that IP address of your container? So let me explain. See, that is all about Docker inspect, then mention your container name or container ID. Whenever you want to test your application within the server only, you should get container IP address. So how can you get it? Docker inspect, then container name or container ID. Hit the enter. See, now I can able to see all information of my container. If you scroll up, so yeah. So this is my container ID created when it was created to May 2025, 8, 14, 13, 7:30 like that. The patch Apache CTL arguments -d foreground. See, state is running is true, paused false. See, dead false. Exit code error nothing. See, image ID also is available. See, host path, long path, then name, login page, my container name, okay, driver, overlaid, platform, Linux. See, all these things we can able to see here. So now where we have to find out our application, our container IP address. Go to bottom, look for IP address. See, here there is a IP address. So this is our container IP address. So by using this IP address, we can able to check whether your application is running or not properly, working or not properly. Internally, server within the server only. How can you check? By using this command, IP address. Okay, what is the command? See, Docker inspect command will help to get any container IP address. So now, how can you check your application is working or not by using IP address? What is the command? Curl command. So just type curl command, then mention your IP address, paste it, then mention your port number. The enter. See, failed to connect port 81 after 0 minutes. She could not connect the server. So let's try to 80. Okay, now it's connecting, it's working. Application is working properly. See, we are getting application source code. If you are getting your application source code, then it is working properly. So this is called sanity check. Okay. Now this is all about how can you able to check your application within the server only. What is the command? Curl, then mention IP address, then mention your container port number, not host port number. Okay. Now it's working, but here it is not accessing. Why? Let me try with the container port number also, even though it is not accessing. So what is the reason? Everything is perfect, but it's not accessing. So what is the reason? You should look for container logs. See, there is a there will be a root cause why your application is not accessing. So you should check the container logs. How can you check the container logs? Let me explain. Just do Docker PS, that's it. Then Docker logs. You have to understand about how can check the Docker container logs. Then Docker logs command you have to use. Then mention your container name or ID. Both will work. Now I may mention a container ID. Hit the enter. See, it is telling Apache 2 could not reliable determine the server is fully qualified domain name using this IP address. So set the server directive globally to suppress this message. Okay. So there is an issue, could not reliable determine the server, fully qualified domain. So that is the issue. So now we need to fix the Docker file. Then we need to build a new Docker image. Then we have to create another container. So now let me change the Docker file. Let me look for the Docker file. What is the issue? Where I did a mistake. Okay, Ubuntu is fine. apt-get apt is fine. apt-install Apache 2. Typo is correct. Then why it's not came up. Apache 2 -y, that's correct. Copy also dot /var www.html is correct. Entry point Apache CTL, that's fine. -d, that's fine. Foreground. So now let me change the entry point. Change the entry point as CMD. We will use CMD or entry point. Okay. Now let me try with CMD instructions. CMD, that's it. Okay, Apache CTL, that's fine. -d, foreground. apt-get install Apache 2 -y. Okay, close the Docker file. Let me save it. Then build a Docker image again. So you need to change the version. I told you, whenever you cannot change your Docker image, again you need to build a new Docker image. So that is called about Docker image is immutable. You cannot change it. Okay. So let me change v2. Now hit the enter. It's built. Now look for new Docker image. See, HTML v2, 5 seconds ago, it has created. So now let me check. Now let me create another container. Let me create another container. What is the command? Docker run -d -name, then HTML only I will give. See, remember, container name should give different. You are not allowed. You should not use same container for every time. Every time you can give. You should give different container name. Okay. Then -p. This time I will use 8080. Why here I am using 8080? Because of 81 port number is already in use. So that's why you have to change the host port number. Remember this one. You should not use same host port number for all containers. You should change every time. So already 81 is in use. So that's why I'm using 80. Then mention your new image name. What is that? HTML-v2. Hit the enter. Look for Docker PS. Look for Docker PS. Okay, it's created. Now go to the, let me check IP address is correct or not. Okay, it's correct. Come to here. Just Control-V, port number. Okay, now it's working. See, the issue is entry point instructions inside the Docker file. So let me show you the Docker file again. Yeah. See, CMD, you should use a CMD, not entry point. Entry point will work sometimes, entry point will not work sometimes. So there is a model login form. See, this application, the static web application has been deployed inside the container, not a EC2 server. Okay. Now let me share this IP address with you. Try to access it. I am sharing into the chat box. Try to you access this application by using this URL. Okay, I sent that application IP address in the chat box. Try to access it. Confirm you are accessing in the chat box. Yeah, okay. What about others? Only Agarwal responded. Please, everyone, try to access it. Confirm the chat box. Yes, Manish, okay. Mahi, okay. Username. You are not username, password, you can provide whatever you want because of there is no any database server, right? It won't accept. Admin, try. You can try. But you need database, right? For storing your user data. Okay. So this is the not working problem with your browser. If you are not, it is not working. Problem is with your browser only. Okay, thank you for your responses. So now let me explain container lifecycle. See, it is very, very important. As a DevOps engineer, whenever you want to work with Docker, you should understand about container lifecycle. It is very, very important. So now let me explain what is mean by container lifecycle. Container lifecycle. So what is mean by container lifecycle? See, that means you have to understand about multiple commands. The URL was not found on the server. No problem. Okay. So look at the screen. Now try to let me explain. See, you have to understand about Docker. You have to understand about Docker create, Docker create, Docker create, Docker run, Docker run, Docker inspect, Docker inspect, then Docker exec, then Docker logs, then Docker pause, then Docker unpause, then Docker rm, then Docker rm-f. Anything else? Docker create, Docker run, Docker inspect, Docker exec, Docker logs, Docker pause, Docker unpause, Docker rm, Docker rm-y. Yeah. So these are the main commands, main Docker main container commands. So all day we have discussed Docker run, Docker inspect. What is Docker run? It will create container and start container. It will start container. So then what about Docker inspect? It will give IP address of your container. So that is all about Docker inspector. So also we have discussed about Docker logs. So it will give logs. So now let me explain Docker create. See, whenever you want to create the container, not a started container. So how can you create the container? So let me explain. See, Docker create hyphen name, then mention a name for your container on demo hyphen, then use your Ubuntu image. See, Docker container created. See, it is only created, not started, because of we are using Docker create command. So Docker create command will do only one thing. That it will be create a container. So here I didn't mention any port number, right? So you cannot access your application by using the container. So let me check Docker PS. See, it is not in running list. Why? Because of Docker PS command will help to see only running containers. So that is all about Docker PS. So if I want to see Docker PS, if I want to see all containers, including stopped containers or exited containers, what is the command? Just same command, Docker PS -a you can use. -a stands for all. Hit the enter. See, I can able to see all containers, 3 containers. See, this is my demo container. It has created 49 seconds ago. Then HTML container, then login page container. So this is all about Docker PS and Docker PS-a. Let me mention here that it will be useful. Docker PS and Docker PS-a. So Docker PS command will help to see only running containers. Docker PS-a command will see Docker and all containers, including stop and exit container. So now you have to understand about how to delete a container. So how you can delete container? Let me explain. So what is the command? Docker rm. See, Docker rm command will help to delete only stopped container, not running container. So first, let me explain how we can able to delete a stopped container. So this container is only created, not started. So now we can able to delete this container. So whenever you want to delete any container, you should use Docker. Whenever you want to delete any stopped container, you should use Docker rm. Then mention container name or container ID. Now I'm mentioning container name. Hit the enter. See, it got deleted. Now do cross check. Docker PS-a. See, I have only 2 containers. The container demo got deleted. So now let me explain how we can able to stop our container. So before deleting any running container, you should stop your container. How can you stop? What is the command? Docker. Let me mention here. Let me list it. Let me list it here. Docker stop. Docker restart. So these commands will help. So first, let me explain how to stop your container. So just type Docker stop. Mention your container name or ID. So I'm mentioning container name. Hit the enter. It is stopping. It will take 1 or 2 minutes. We need to wait. Docker stop. Then mention container name or ID. See, it stopped. If I check Docker PS only, because of I stopped only running container, see, I can see only one container. That is all about the login page. There is no any container named HTML. Where it is available? It is available in stopped list only. Docker PS-a. See, it's exited 20 seconds ago. Now I want to restart this container. How can I restart? Let me explain. Docker restart container name. What is our container name? HTML. Hit the enter. See, it is restarted. Now check Docker PS. Because of it will be in running list container. See, now up 6 seconds ago only. So HTML. So this is all about how to stop a container, how to restart your container. So now let me explain how to pause a container. For suppose your team lead is requested you. Can you pause one container for 1 hour, for a week, for a 1 month, for few hours, for a few days? See, like that, the team lead has asked you to pause your container. So how can you pause your container? What is the command? Docker pause. Then mention container name or ID. So this time we will try with the container ID instead of container name. Hit the enter. See, now check for Docker PS. See, what is the status? Paused. The container status is paused. So now you need to unpause. How can you unpause? Just same command. Docker unpause. Then mention container name or ID. Hit the enter. Now look for Docker PS command. See, a minute ago. Now there is no any pause done. So this is how we can able to pause container and unpause container. So now let me explain how to delete a running container. So far, we have discussed how to delete a stopped container, how to pause a container, how to unpause the container. So now I want to delete running container without stopping. How can I delete that? How can I do that? Docker rm then space -f. See, -f stands for forcibly. That means by forcing, you are going to treating your container. So this is all about Docker rm -if. So let me delete login page -container. Hit the enter. See, it's got deleted. Now let me Docker ps. See, I have only one container. If you have a doubt, let me check Docker ps -a. See, here also there is only one container. So this is all about Docker rm -. So we have discussed Docker create, Docker run, Docker inspect, Docker exec we didn't discuss. Docker logs, Docker pause, Docker unpause, Docker rm -. Okay. See, only Docker exec we didn't discuss. So now let me explain how to enter. What is about Docker exec? See, Docker exec is nothing but execution. That means you have to, whenever you want to enter inside the Docker container. So how you can enter inside the Docker container? What is the command? The command is Docker exec. 1 second, there is a disturbance. I will close my door. Yeah. Now let me explain how to enter in any container. What is the command? So Docker exec command you can use. Then you have to use -d. See, Docker exec execution -t is nothing but interactive. That means you are going to interacting your container. Then mention your container name or ID. Then mention shell script path bash. So Docker exec -it container name and bash. Hit the enter. See, if you look at my screen, before executing this command, now I'm as a root user. Look at the difference. Root at IP address. But after executing this command, I can see root at container ID. See, what is this container ID? 199. So look for here also 199. See, there is a /IP, /app, where it is available. Now I'm inside the container. It is a container ID. It is a working directory. Inside the Dockerfile, we have defined /app as a working directory for our container mission. So that's why it is showing /app. So that means now we are inside the container. So if you give ls, nothing will be there. Why? Because of, if you want to see your application source code, configuration files, folders, all these things, you need to go to the Apache web server root directory. What is the root directory? cd space /var www /html. Hit the enter. If you give ls, see, there is a Docker file and index.html file. That means your container is carrying your entire application source code, libraries, dependencies. So this is the reason only many companies are going to deploy their application in a container only. So it is easy to deploy in any operating system. The Docker will support Linux OS, Ubuntu OS, Amazon OS, Red Hat OS, CentOS, Mac OS, including Windows. Okay, that is the advantage of Docker. So Docker will run on anywhere. You can take if you take any operating system, there is no any restrictions. So that flexibility has Docker. So that is all about Docker container. So now the task is I want to exit from the container. Now I'm inside the container. How I can exit the container? Just type exit. See, now I'm out of the container. So this is all about Docker exec. So now let me explain how you can able to push a Docker image how we can able to store a Docker image into our Docker registry. See, for that you need a account. Docker registry, you need an account in Docker registry. So now let me explain how we can able to create a Docker Hub account. So first is just type open a new tab on your browser. Just type dockerhub.com. Hit the enter. Dockerhub.com. Hit the enter. See, there is a sign in, there is a sign up. See, if you have account, just click on the sign in. For suppose, if you don't have account, just click on the sign up. Then you can able to create a account. See, whenever you want to store any application, you should create a account. So that is all about Docker Hub account. If I click on the sign up, firstly, you need to choose account type, work or personal. Please go with personal because of you are not working for any company, right? For suppose if you're working in any company, you don't create any work. Company only will provide the account work Docker Hub account. But for your practice, for your personal, please go with personal option only. Then provide your valid email ID. Then provide a username. You need to provide a username. You know about GitHub account. See, in GitHub account, there is a username, right? Let me show you. If I click on here, so this is my username, msocial123. Similarly, for Docker Hub, for Docker registry also, you need to provide a account. It could be, you can give Murli at Docker something. So you can give okay. See, it is clearly telling only letters and digits, no special case letters. Please, you can use only numbers and letters. Don't use any special case letters. If I mention capital D, okay, it's working. So this is how you can able to create an account. Firstly, provide a valid Gmail, provide a username, then provide a password. For suppose, if you have an email, click on continue with Google. See, there is an email. By using this email also, you can able to create. Then click on the continue, then you can create a account. It is very easy. No need to provide any debit card, any PAN number, any Aadhaar card, any mobile number. You should provide only your valid email. So that's it. So now let me explain how we can able to store or how we can able to store your Docker image inside into Docker registry. So let me enter. Let me explain how we can able to enter. How we can able to provide a Docker image. So for that, let me log in. Let me get credentials. Murli Social 123 at gmail.com. Then let me provide password of my account. See, I have logged into my account. See, this is my username, Murli Social 123. So this is all about my account. So now if you want to see my stored images, just click on here, click on my profile. So these are the images. DevSecOps example app, e-commerce cart, AWS retail application, Maven-web Java, EY-web, Clahan DZ web, cart page example, test web Oracle example. See, these all are the my already stored images. See, what is the last recent image? Updated 4 hours ago. Okay. Now let me explain how we can able to store any image, any container image, a Docker image into our Docker registry or Docker Hub. So firstly, you need a Docker images. Okay. See, there is an image HTML-v2. So let me store this HTML-v2 image into my Docker registry. So what is the firstly, you need to tag your image. Remember, before pushing, before storing your Docker image into Docker Hub or Docker registry, you need to tag your image. So how can we tag the image? Let me explain. See, Docker tag, then mention your image name. So this is my image name, then mention colon, better to provide a tag also. This is my tag. Now enter, then you need to provide your Docker Hub account username. So this is my username. Just copy my username, come to the server, just paste it, give / whatever you tag that image. This image name only have to give here only. Don't give this image name. See, please give this image name only. So this is how you can able to tag any image before pushing or storing into your Docker Hub account, Docker registry. Docker tag image name with tag, then provide your Docker username, give /, then mention your tagged image name. Hit the enter. See, if you give Docker images, I can see Docker tagged image. Murli social 123 /HTML v2 with the latest. See, 24 minutes ago, 233 MB. Now you can push your Docker image. Remember, before pushing any Docker image, you should log in into your Docker Hub account within the server only. You have to log in. Hit the enter. See, it is asking firstly username. So provide a username. What is my username? This is my username only. This is my username. Just paste it. Hit the enter. Then it is asking password. Remember, whenever you are typing password, it is not visible. Blindly you can type and hit the enter. Okay. Just type your password. Let me type. Just now I typed my password, hit the enter. See, login succeeded. So now you can able to push your image. Let me explain how you can able to push your image. Docker images, just Docker push command you can use. So this you need to mention your image name. So this is the image name, or you can able to mention this image name. Okay. The enter. See, it is pushing. It is pushing. Just need to wait few minutes for 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, it's completed. So now you can able to go to your Docker Hub account or registry. Just do refresh. If I do refresh, I can see my HTML-v2. If you look at my screen, HTML-v2 updated a few seconds ago. So if I click on here, see there is no any overview. Then click on the tags. See, there is a click on tags. See, what was the last push 1 minute ago by whom? Murli Social 123. See, Linux last pull less than 1 day. So this is the command. For suppose if someone you have created one Docker image, you have stored your Docker image into your Docker registry, but you need to share with Docker this Docker image your client. So how can you share? You can provide this command. Okay, but you can provide this command. By using this command, client or not only client, anyone can download or anyone can pull the Docker image from the Docker registry. See, Docker pull is nothing but you are going to downloading your image from Docker registry or Docker Hub account. So that is all about how you can able to push or how you can able to store any Docker image into a Docker registry. So now let me try with a different image. There is another image also we have. Now let me try Docker images. Firstly, you need to tag it. Docker tag. What is the image name? HTML v1. Then if you don't bought, better to give version, or else you can, no problem. Okay, now let me try without giving version, without giving tag. Just mention your username, give /, then mention your image name. Hit the enter. If you give Docker images, see there is a tagged image. Where is HTML v1. Now let me already I have logged in, so no need to again log in into my Docker Hub account. Okay, then type Docker push, copy this image name, tagged image name, paste it, hit the enter. See, it is pushing. It is pushing. Yeah, it's done. Now go to the Docker registry, come back, just do refresh. You can look for HTML v1. See, HTML v1 updated a few seconds ago. For suppose, if you want download, if you want to pull any Docker image, so how you can able to pull Docker image? First, for suppose, let me pull e-commerce cart application. Okay, click on here, click on the tags. See, whenever you want to download, whenever you want to pull any image, please go with tags. Please copy this command. Okay, this command will help to download or to pull any Docker image from Docker registry. See, I copied this entire command. Come to my server, just paste it, hit the enter. See, it is pulling from my Docker registry, downloading. This is how you can able to pull or download any image from Docker registry or Docker hub. Let's wait. Yeah. So if I do Docker images command, I can see where it is. Yeah. Yeah. See, Murli Social 123 e-commerce cart. See, 5 hours ago. Okay. This is how you can able to understand. This is how you can able to download any Docker image. Okay. Now let me explain how to delete Docker images. I forgot to explain how to delete Docker images. Let me explain. See, the command is Docker RMI and Docker RMI -f. Okay. Now let me explain how you can able to delete a Docker image. So first let me try it one Docker image. Docker RMI. See, RM stands for remove, I stands for image. Okay, just mention your image ID or image name. So let me try to HTML v1. Come to here, just paste it, hit the enter. See, the image has been got deleted. See, there is no any image named with HTML v1. Now try to delete another image also. Try to delete another image. Docker RMI. Let me try to delete this one also. See, it got deleted. If I do Docker images command, I can. There is no any name. There is no any image named with HTML -v1. For suppose, let me delete this Ubuntu image. How we can able to delete? Docker RMI. Then mention. This time let us try. Let's try with the image ID instead of image name. This is image ID. Hit the enter. Okay. It is a image has a dependent child image because of this HTML v2, right? So that's why it is unable to delete. Okay, no problem. You can go with another image also. Docker RMI. This image. Enter. That's it. You can check Docker images command. So this is all about the Docker images. So let me check Docker PS. Is there any container? Okay, container is there. So this is all about container lifecycle. See, we have discussed today what is Docker, what is Dockerfile, how we can able to write a Dockerfile, what is Docker image, how we can able to build a Docker image, how we can able to create a container, how we can able to inspect your container, how we can able to enter inside the container, how we can able to check the Docker logs, how we can able to pause container, unpause the container, deleting the container, stop the container, deleting the running container, checking for running list containers, stop containers, list containers, how to stop the container, how to restart the container, how to delete the image. So these all are the Docker container lifecycle. So now let me, okay, For suppose, if I want download Java image, so how can I download the Java image? Just open the new tab, just search for Java Docker official image. Java Docker official image. There is a typo mistake. Hit the enter. See, I can see open JDK official image. See, it is the what it is showing Docker Hub, because of all images will be stored, will be available in Docker Hub only. Okay. Now hit the, it is completely free of cost. You don't need to pay anything. Already I explained about Docker image. Yeah. See, go to the tags. Go to the tags, click on the tags. See, here we have multiple tags. OpenJDK 25 Slim, 25 Slim, Bully C, Bookworm, 25 Slim only, 25 Oracle Linux 9, 25 Oracle Linux 8. See, based upon the tags, you can download any, if you want any Java Docker image. For suppose I want to download this image. See, copy the command, pulling the copy the pull command. Paste it in server. It is pull. It's pulling. Now just type Docker images. See, where is the open JDK? 5 days ago it has created. So for suppose I want to download Java, program Python image. Just type Python official Docker image, Docker official image. Hit the enter. See Docker Hub, Python official image. Click on the tags. Better to go to tags. Okay. Click on the tags. Look for Python latest, Python Bully C, Python Bookworm, Python Bully C. See, let me install, let me pull this Python latest image. By using this image, you can able to deploy your application. You can able to create a container. Okay. This is all about Docker, Dockerfile, Docker image, Docker registry, Docker container, Docker architecture, Docker container lifecycle. Okay. Tomorrow we will discuss about how we can able to write a Docker file for Node.js application, how we can able to deploy Node.js application into in a container. So tomorrow we will discuss. Then we will move auto scaling. Then we will move to the next concept, Kubernetes. So far, if you have any questions, please you can ask. And so far, if you have any questions, please ask. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. Please feel free. I will explain whatever if you have questions. More questions? Confirm the chat box clear. Then I can wind up the session. Everyone, please confirm clear the chat box. Or if you have any questions, please ask me. Thank you for your responses. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We'll wind up for the day.
Yeah.
So,
See you next
we'll-
class, guys. Bye.
yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah, so students, we'll meet again by tomorrow at 7 p.m. Thank you all for joining.